Hello, and welcome to the Professional Development Edge Plus podcast. We got a great guest here today. We have the CEO of Willis Towers Watson, Carl Hess. How you doing today, Carl?
Living the dream.
Got it. So we brought some other WTW talent in today. We actually just filmed with SOA President Amanda Hugg, and we also got Taryn Grote and Chris Lombardi from Willis Towers Watson that's going to come in to ask Carl a couple questions so you don't have to listen to me the whole time. So that's going to be great. Let's first start out going from Actuary to CEO. What are some things that helped you on that journey? And were there any pivots or really items that you thought about going into that journey?
A lot of these skills that make you a good actuary help you be a good CEO, right? The ability to sort of take a lot of different things in, build your own models, and come up with probabilistic type answers that hopefully turn into real world solutions. It's not quite as cut and dried as many actuarial models. The world is a messy place, but at the end of the day, kind of the training I had helped me do what I do now. Maybe not the compare and contrast of U.S. and Canadian Social Security plans, but things like, actually looking at a set of data and say, what conclusions can you draw from this? That is a useful skill to have.
What about something that you wish that you knew when you were younger, Arctic?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what you do when you start is, it's a bit contained, right? And there are actually right answers and sometimes there are wrong answers too. And you try and get more right than wrong. And so the ability to deal with people, right, is, it's invaluable trait for any executive. And when it's a little harder to get earlier in your career, right? And the more of it you get, the better.
Yeah, exactly. So you touched on something, the more exposure to other people that you get, the better. But what are some other items that actuaries should be thinking about if they do want to get into these higher level leadership positions like a CEO?
Yeah, I mean, communication skills are utterly critical, right? Because what you're trying to do is, as an executive in the organization, especially the CEO, is leverage yourself. And the way you leverage yourself is clear communication to others in your hierarchy about what needs to be done and what their role in that is. If you can't clearly communicate that, you won't be an effective leader.
Carl, what are some of the trends that are on your radar and the things that you're seeing out there that may impact the actuarial profession and the industry as a whole?
It's hard to ignore AI and what that can mean for the industry. I'm very positive on it. And, I look at what technology has already brought to the actuarial profession. I mean, I am old enough, for better or for worse, to remember when spreadsheets were, an actual piece of paper that you had to fill out and use a Monroe calculator or then HP12C to actually kind of get at a result that, now we can get it with a lot less pain. Right. The first version of Lotus 1-2-3, followed by Excel, followed by macros. Right. These actually help you get a lot of routine tasks off your hand. And I look at what AI can be doing for us in the future and think the same thing.
I want to ask a bit about your career. It's very fascinating to me. So starting with when you look back on your early days of your career, at what point do you think you really pivoted from the more analytical, technical nature of an actuary to the more strategic business look that you have now?
I was a very happy individual contributor for the first 20 years or so of going about being an actuary. I started in pensions, then moved on to investments. And I actually liked working with clients, right? That's what I did. And but one day we were having a seniors meeting. And it felt to me like we were discussing the same thing we've been discussing for about 6 months. I stood up and not quite pounded the table, said, "This is ridiculous. We should do this, this, and this." That was it. They made me a manager. And from there, it was just a death spiral down into managing bigger and bigger things.
Yeah, so it sounds like it wasn't even a conscious decision for you, but did it come naturally? Were you happy to make that change?
I'm not sure it was a conscious decision. Me and my big mouth. I do know that once I started doing it, I recognized that actually what you do as a leader and manager is you're leveraging yourself, right? You're actually it's not just your own personal actions, but you're acting through others. And if you can do that well, right, you can magnify the effect of your decisions and the success you can create. And so you can get a bit addictive.
it's a little daunting too, I think, right? It's the good and the bad if you're magnifying your.
Well, there are
Yeah.
days you wake up, right, Garen, and you say, "Oh, well, there's a lot on my shoulders."
Sure.
It helps to have a good management team, so it's not all you. People you can bounce things off of, and get a reality check at times. And you want to make sure you don't get too big ahead. But at the end of the day, yeah, these are daunting decisions. Sometimes they can have real world effects on, WTW's case, you know, thousands of colleagues or tens of thousands of clients or lots and lots of dollars.
Sure. Yeah, me included. So, um, wondering if you could just talk a little bit more specifics about how AI is impacting WW's work and what we're doing in that space.
Yeah, so we have something over 150 different projects going on AI right now. The first thing we did as an organization was, like any smart risk organization, right, is sort of say, okay, here's the parameters of what we're going to allow people to do. We'd rather you don't feed sensitive data into public models.
Sure.
Thank you very much. But then we've said, okay, we've got a lot of inquiring minds around the organization, and let them go experiment with what we think may work. And so you've got nearly 200 projects going on in all our businesses as well as the support functions. And a lot of it has to do with sort of taking two things, big. One is turning unstructured data into something that's structured so that we can let our good people go at it and draw some conclusions. And the second is automating tasks that free up people to do more productive things.
Sure.
Us at WTW, we are pretty aware of your eclectic taste in music and your willingness to connect with us and share with us. What can you tell us about the role music has played in not only in your career, but specifically within your actuarial exam study journey?
So, my kids would probably say my awful taste in music rather than my eclectic taste in music. Stoner psych is not their thing. What can I say? Look, music is a good way of sort of establishing a rhythm, right? It depends what you listen to. If classical's your thing, maybe rhythm's not it. But I tend to my taste got frozen in about 1968, right? And so there's a certain beat that goes along with it, and that beat sort of helps you get into routine. And when you're trying to study for an exam, I felt that music softly in the background sort of just helped me stay a bit focused. Distract in order to focus in order to distract, and that's what did it for me.
Sure.
I'll still use music as a backdrop, but the technology's changed a bit, right? Sonos rather than a phone. Yeah.
But I love the description, right? There's it's a distraction from distracting thoughts, right? WTW's a large company, right? As a leader of over 45,000 people, how do you best stay connected to the people and their needs?
I've got a couple ways I do that. One is, instead of sitting in an office, I'll sit in a public space and just try to interact with people as they go by. I was trained actually say hello to people in the halls. It's a good way of interacting. I listen a lot, and I do a lot of public appearances within the company, our town halls, employee forums, listening groups, that sort of thing. It does help. We also have some mechanisms around the place to network a bit more 21st century. Viva Engage, right, which is a Microsoft tool that sort of allows for less formal communications than the email from the CEO does. All these kind of help, right? But there's nothing like actually this sort of communication, right? So what's on your mind?
Yeah. Oh, right now.
Yeah, right now.
Oh man, you put me on the spot, right? I'm already nervous. I got a camera in front of my face. But cool, right? That goes back to your answer previously that being a good leader is all about communication, effective communication. My last question is, I don't know much about this deep science and dark physics, but with the many worlds interpretation, every decision that you make creates a different universe. And on your way from being an actuary to being a CEO of an extremely large company, there were many decision points that you made and many alternate universes that you've created. What do you think is the most alternate universe that you created?
Well, I almost didn't become CEO, right? In order for me to become CEO, we had to have a quite large merger get terminated for antitrust purposes. And had that merger not been terminated, who knows? I might have been on the beach right now. Beach, maybe not. I'm a little too hyper for the beach, but I'd certainly be doing something very, very different today than what I've been doing for the last few years. And that it was a very real alternative universe. That's the one I thought I was very much going to be living in. By the way, if you like alternative universes, Michael Moorcock, Moorcock, has a great series of books out that all have to do with the multiverse.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I've read a few and I don't understand it still.
You got to read more.
Yeah, I got to read more. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. So thank you for joining us. This has been another production of the PD Edge Plus podcast. Hope to see you next time.
The views and opinions expressed in Society of Actuaries podcasts are those of the speakers or authors and do not necessarily reflect the views of their employers or the SOA. The opinions expressed should not be construed as legal or professional advice and are provided for educational purposes only. Please see the terms of use on SOA.org for more information.
Want to just let everyone know about Professional Development Edge Plus. That is our subscription service. And with that, you get every live webcast that the SOA offers. You get recordings of live webcasts and meeting recordings, as well as some great comprehensive courses. We got some on AI on there. And then we got short form video content, which features some of the best and the brightest in the industry. So great platform for everyone to enjoy and a great way to get your learning.